Everything that rocks, Laser 103.3. It's always a treat as he takes a big yawn across from me.
Right, yeah, it's all like we've never done this before.
Right, and it hasn't just become old hat at this point, Corey Taylor.
Although I brought my old hat.
You did bring your old hat.
I brought the old hat.
It's an attractive
this
old hat.
thing, not really. This has got, well, first of all, it's got soil from probably all 7 continents on it, sweat from 3 different bands in it, and it's starting to smell like a paper mill. Let's put it that way. It's not good.
Take a little cup, wring it out, sell the sweat on eBay. You could probably sell the soil from the 7 continents on eBay.
Dude, you got me crowning. That's not good.
You don't have to worry about money for the rest of your life at that point.
If that's how desperate I get to make money, you know where to bury me the next day.
We know you better than that. It's definitely not about the money, because here you are dipping your toe once again in authoring a new novel. Oh, yes, Corey Taylor, New York Times bestselling author of 7 Deadly Sins, which we absolutely loved, follows it up with A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Heaven, or How I Made Peace with the Paranormal and Stigmatized Zealots and Cynics in the Process.
First of all, I apologize for that subtitle, because honestly, I came up with it just to piss off my editor, like straight up, because I don't know what it is it's at Da Capo. They're obsessed with subtitles, and I hate them. I can't stand them. Can I just name a book and just let it ride? And they were like, "We need a subtitle." I was like, "Oh, all right,
you've done it twice.
I'll give
now.
you a subtitle,
yes.
bud." So I apologize for that. Cool thing is, Funny Thing debuted on the New York Times bestsellers list again. It was,
wow.
It debuted 3 spots higher than the first one, which is really cool.
Whereas 7 Deadly Sins sort of took us through the debauchery of your early days up until present day, and kind of gave us an insight into the type of human being we've been dealing with through the music of Slipknot, Stone Sour, and others. This new book takes it in a completely different direction, and it's kind of, I liken it to how you work as an author of the songs that you write. Yeah. You're always stretching out and trying to find new boundaries, and I think you found another one here in discussing the paranormal. Yeah. I mean, I knew I didn't want to do 7 Deadly Sins 2, which I think a lot of people were expecting from me. Well, you certainly could have done it. You had
enough
content,
I mean, easily, but at the same time, it's the same approach, like you said, that I have to music. If it feels familiar, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And I can instantly tell if something's familiar like that. So with this one, what I loved about 7 Deadly Sins was the format of it.
Yes.
And how it was put together, because it kind of wrote itself, essentially. I mean, right out of the gate, you've got 7, you're going to have 7 chapters about the sins, and then it's just kind of filling in the blanks in between, like what else could I come up with? Well, with this one, it was like, well, how do I, kind of format this book? And I immediately realized that I'd had so many experiences in so many different places over the years. I was like, well, there's a chapter, there's a chapter, there's a chapter. Well, okay, here we go again. So
shoot,
it was cool.
We just reached 200 plus pages.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a book. That's a wrap.
Exactly.
Amazing. And I love how being a guy that's spent enough time here in Des Moines to be able to visualize some of the locations you talk about in this book, including your old abode on Foster Drive, the manor.
Which you were at, yeah.
I have been there several times. In fact, I think I was you told one story in that chapter about a really good barbecue sandwich and having no pants on.
Yeah, that was, I can't remember if that was Halloween or New Year's Eve.
I think
you were there. Yeah.
I think I enjoyed some barbecue sandwiches.
Because honestly, I mean, there's a good hour and a half block where I don't remember what happened leading up to that, and then all of a sudden I'm standing there in a shirt and nothing else, just eating this tiny little barbecue sandwich, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's time for bed. Because I mean, it was that kind of night.
Yeah,
so.
it was from my recollections as well, and believe me, details are sketchy for me at best.
Apologize to your mom again for me.
Yes, sorry, Mom.
That's where there's that.
Yeah, we could talk. We could probably write a chapter on that in your next book.
Exactly.
Some of the other chapters, though, in this book, and again, being here in Des Moines as much as I've been over the past 13, 14 years. I'm able to visualize and even have been to some of these locations, like the schoolhouse, for example, in Farrar.
Yeah, in Farrar, yeah. It was that was really cool because it was really getting out of the what I knew. I mean, it was this chapter hadn't been written yet, so it was like I was really kind of aware and really trying to pay attention to everything. And the thing about that was I was so busy trying to get all the details in my head that I forgot to just kind of relax and enjoy it, you know? So about an hour in, I was just kind of tense and like really like, what did that person say? Or what did this person do? And I was just like, wait a minute, that's not why we're here, you know? So I kind of settled down and just really started to kind of have fun with it. But it really is this little niche in the, like, you know, about, 15, 20 minutes outside of Des Moines where, I mean, if you blinked, you'd miss it, like literally miss it. And I did. I had to turn back around and come back to I was like, was that it? What did, Christ.
You passed the second decrepit silo,
exactly,
in other words.
Exactly. You know,
that's right from the book.
I've gone too far. If I hit gravel, you've gone too far.
There you have it.
Which is famous last words in Iowa.
Back to what you said about enjoying it. The way you put it in the book, and I think this is smart when you're dealing with a situation like this, you're in a schoolhouse, it's nighttime, it's dark, you're trying so hard to hear anything and believe everything.
Oh, yeah.
But you forget at some point that you need to let things like that come to you.
Exactly.
And that's how you put it in the book, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, so many people are so busy chasing this stuff that every little thing turns into something, you know, because you're hyper aware, you're hyper acute, your hearing is on like lockdown, you know, depending on how, good your hearing is. So everything becomes, ghostly. Everything becomes supernatural. Whereas like if you take 10 seconds to figure it out, you go, oh, okay, well that was the chair squeaking, and you really have to be careful with that. And the only way I can liken it in a lot of ways is a lot of ghost hunting is comparable to the Ren Fair or Comic-Con, where you go in groups because you enjoy the company, not necessarily because you're dedicated to what's going on. Some may, I'm not saying all of them are, but a lot of people are so busy reacting to things instead of, like you said, letting it come to you. And that's where the book comes in, essentially, because none of this was me chasing it down.
Nope.
For all intents and purposes, I don't want this stuff in my life.
That's why it's so important, Corey, because as you'll read in the book, things have been coming to you since you were very young.
For very young,
and you've had these questions throughout the course of your life, and all you're trying to do is find some sort of an answer.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason I don't swim with sharks. They terrify me.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not like I'm like in a pool going, what was that? Oh, it was a shark. Yeah, I'm not doing that, and that's the kind of the way I am with this stuff. And honestly, I loved the challenge of trying to, set a goal for myself and go, what are these things? Because I mean, I essentially wrote that first chapter before I wrote anything else in the book. And I was glad that I'm glad I did, because it really set the tone for what I wanted to say in the book. And that's why I got not only really elaborate with the descriptions and the places where I was at, but also with the scientific bent that I tried to come at it from. And it may be, like elementary science here, that the way I look at it, but it made sense to me just from all the research that I did, and that made me feel better. So it was almost like a catharsis as well.